Bonjour, je suis J.R. Helton. Je vis à San Antonio, Texas. I'm the author of A Texas, tu seras déjà mort, which means basically, I think in Texas you'd be dead already. And this is my first book with 13 Note Editions, which is a collection of both my published and unpublished work. I think that most of us are, as human beings, are very similar. Kurt Vonnegut said, the author Kurt Vonnegut said that we're slaves to fear and hunger. I think he said that in his book Galapagos. And I believe that. I think that we are selfish little creatures. Our ability to be compassionate to one another is actually one of our greatest achievements. But if you just look at the last 100 years, we've spent the last century slaughtering each other. We have this heightened sense of ourselves as human beings, and I don't think we're as special as we seem to think we are. I wrote The Jugheads when I was in my mid-20s, and it's a portrait of my family growing up in the late 60s and 70s, and of my father who had a tough childhood himself and was very young when I was born. My mother was only 16, he was 17 when my sister and I came along. To me, though, a lot of humor comes out of tragedy. And so I find the book funny, actually, but other people say it's, they say it's terrible. But as far as the family portrait that's portrayed, my dad loses all his money and at the end of the book gambling on the American dream, gambling on the stock market, and so I'm trying to actually paint a portrait of him and his life as this working man who really buys into the whole line of hype. And in some ways, in other words, the book's not meant to be an indictment of him. It's about the relationship between he and I. I was inspired by Charles Bukowski's book, Ham on Rye. I wrote that not long after I first discovered Charles Bukowski, actually. My book, Man and Beast, is based on my experiences. For about 10 years I lived in the middle of a 600-acre ranch not far from San Antonio here, and my ex-wife rescued dogs and cats. And San Antonio is one of the worst cities in the world. They kill 35,000 dogs and cats a year here. They gas them and kill them, stray dogs. In Man and Beast, I talk about my own evolution and realizing what kind of pet owner that I was, which is not a very good one. But I learned a lot about people, actually, by helping her rescue dogs reluctantly, which is that I think that you can measure the character of a person and how they treat their animals. When I was a kid, my dad was a real hothead, and it comes out in me sometimes. I can be a stereotypical hot-headed Irishman, and I don't like that. Having a hot temper and maybe drinking a little too much, probably two indulgences, faults that I try to improve upon. The forward to my collection that's coming out here in March 2011 in France is written by Robert Crumb, the famous American expatriate artist. He lives in in France now. I can't quite say enough how much this is personal, how he helped me personally. Just having somebody believe in me and my work when nobody else had ever, really. And he did, and that made all the difference. It made a lot of the difference. I would have still written anyway, but the fact that having this guy I could respect like my stuff gave me an audience in a way, and some more confidence, I think, in my work too. When I do die, I would like to go out on a cloud of morphine, or Demerol, some strong opiate, and in my sleep, I think, is one of the better ways to go.